Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be dissecting the Justin call a little bit, the call from the previous episode, if you missed that. And we'll also be looking back at the Jacob Kobe card from the episode before that. What's up, Premier Chat? We're here every week, if you guys haven't noticed. And get you guys to do me a favor and spam some Mawiles in the chat. Please. And thank you. You guys asked for hats. I didn't know if it was a viable option, but there is a link in the description. The new hat, not the old hat. Link in the description to sign up. It will be sort of a pre-order or special order. Since they are fitted, I don't want a bunch of ridiculous sizes that I can never wear, or that someone won't happen to fit into. They are going to be expensive, but if it's going to be merchandise, I guess I think I'd rather have it something that people wear, not just a cheap hat that people toss to the side. Should show on there, but looking at a 65 USD plus actual shipping, and we'll do our best to make sure that the shipping is as reasonable as possible. It ships from the US, so if you're in the US or Canada, shipping probably isn't that bad. International, you kind of know how that works already, unfortunately. You might ask, what happened to the old hat? Well, let's take a gander. Yeah, you guessed it. It is. It's gone. I figured there'd be like a little bit of remnants or something like that. I don't know if that's why all the ashes are kind of sticking together, is the polyester or whatever, and the old hat. But it's gone. It's all right. We have the new hats now. We're okay. I know. We'll shed a tear, say a prayer, rest in peace, Hat V1. First off, I'd like to say I'm disappointed in you junior detectives in the comments that said that Justin was telling the truth. Second off, the people that were criticizing my interview technique, which was very sporadic, because I didn't expect him to answer the phone. So I made the best of it, got him to talk a long time, and you think there weren't some intended tricky dickies in there? Come on. You think I got him to talk about hockey for no reason? How about this? What's important about this clip?
I talk church because I'm a big hockey fan. Love the fucking Oilers.
For anyone that isn't aware, the Edmonton Oilers is an NHL hockey team that happens to be nearby this particular J-boy. That comes into play here with some of the other conversation we had. Like a shadowless case that you guys opened on like video chat or something, or maybe just sent pictures.
There was nothing opened on video chats and things like that. What the hell is this guy freaking?
Yeah, I don't know. It showed like it had a piece of paper that said Jacob on it, with the date, and then it had like the 6 shadowless boxes in the case. But
yeah, okay. Well, like I said, before I go any further, if this has, like I said, this is confidential between me and you, and if I find out any worse, then they'll be held to pay. But I'm guessing I might need to grab a lawyer on this. This is bullshit.
So the photos and or group call that I'm talking about, video call that I'm talking about, is this one here. You guys remember these photos. These are very, very important photos because this pretty much shows you that Justin, he knew it was fake. Jacob knew it was fake. Did the other guys know it was fake too? So, we have this photo on the dresser. I don't know what else is on the dresser there. What the round doodiddy is, if anyone knows. I thought maybe it was one of those like roofing knives, and maybe a device for smoking and toking. Your guess is as good as mine. Leave it in the comments if you can identify either of those objects. Here is the piece of paper with what would be the handwriting of our boy Justin. Maybe it's not. Maybe it just kind of goes back and forth the same way as the handwriting on the box that the case came in, the fragile. And you're like, okay, Rattle, get to the point. Okay, the boxes were fake. So you have fake boxes here. This is the reason. He had fake boxes and knew they were fake boxes because he's got the fake boxes right in front of him here. And you're going to say, how do you know it was Justin? How do you know for sure? What tipped you off to that? Maybe it's just some random guy that took a picture of a box. Well, here, I don't know if you guys noticed the NHL franchise on the pajama pants at the bottom of this photo. But that is none other than the Edmonton Oilers, the favorite team. I feel like this is turning into like Ace Ventura or something. Over here, we have the missing first edition box that was out of the case that Steve from BBCE noticed. So there it is. Both cases were open at one point in the possession of the individual here, Justin. The J Boys apparently saw this on a call. They took photos of the call, I guess, or these are just screenshots of the call. Your guess is as good as mine. They seem to agree that there was a video call. Justin, when you bring it up, or when I brought it up, you can tell it was a touchy subject because he immediately goes into defense mode, talks about how it's confidential, how he should get lawyers, because he knows this is mega incriminating plus. It is. It's bad. This is the key. The missing box here and the fake boxes. If they just didn't show any of these other boxes at any point, the story would be much harder to piece together. Yeah.
The only reason I sold it, I was selling things, because my nephew came down with cancer, and he just had a freshly born new son, and I was not going to allow mine would be great nephew to grow up without a father. And me and my nephew are so close, and so is our family is. And I went to sell that stuff for him. And yeah, if this guy did some shady shit, well, that's on freaking him. So again, if I haven't said it enough times throughout the series, this is all my opinion based on the evidence that I have in front of me. But this last part with the nephew, his adult nephew, having cancer is legitimate. So was that the reason why the case was assembled to begin with? Maybe. The funding goals were reached outside of that, so I don't know if it was necessary, like really necessary. Maybe he just wanted to get additional funds for the grand nephew, if that's what you call it. Great nephew. Great nephew. So this part is sad, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that you get a free pass to create counterfeit goods and sell them for what would have been apparently millions of dollars, or over $1 million. 1.8 was his claim that he was going to get for it. Let's take a look at the prices, and you can tell that I tried to get him to talk about prices a few times just to see if it would be consistent, just to make sure that all the little details were there. We're going to get out our supercomputer, and the document, super document maker, price matching guarantee. And we'll document each part here where he tells us about the prices. Well, we'll call it J-Boy Price Guide. Price Guide. That way we don't lose track with all these references.
As far as I know,
and then
when that was sold, he
Okay.
never paid me out in full.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
He never paid me in full. He wouldn't
Oh,
pay
he didn't pay you.
No, he paid. I don't know where.
Okay.
Some money came to me.
Yeah.
And then I threatened I wanted my case back because he was not paying. He kept saying wait, and he kept telling me not to talk to nobody.
Okay. How much did they end up paying you? They only sent you one payment, I think, from what I've seen.
They sent me apparently somebody sent me by PayPal $250.
Okay.
And that wasn't the agreed upon amount. The agreed upon amount was way more. Okay. And then it took almost week and a half, if that, maybe more, for them to send another additional payment of, I think it came up to $600,000 or something like that.
Okay.
It was way below. I was never paid in full.
All right. So the payment here, we have what was $250,000 that went to Justin. That was from Mealy Pops. Plus we have $600,000 which was the additional payment later on. He says something like $600,000. It was probably exactly $600,000. Said he paid you six figures, I think, on a podcast. Did he?
Six figures.
Yeah. So as in like 100,000 or more. Was that the original agreement?
Okay, there was an agreement sent that he was going to pay me $250,000 just to send the case to him. Okay. That was a shipping agreement. That wasn't even. That was not even part of the original payment.
All right. So you guys following? We have the 250 that was part of the original shipping agreement right here. Good. He confirmed it once again, and I saw the PayPal transaction for that. I'm not going to talk about how, but that is definitely what happened.
You're paying. He told me it costed, I think, $150,000 or $50,000 to send a wire transfer.
All right, so we gotta take note of this $150,000 wire transfer fee. That is extremely important, as we will see. We'll keep that down on the bottom here. Keep that in mind. Maybe we should give it an undo. We don't need to circle it that many times, I don't think. Wire. There we go. We take that into consideration for later once we do our calculations on the supercomputer. I think the craziest part is that he didn't even pay you. Like, if he sold it for that much money,
I was pissed.
And he's still gonna short you on what he told you to begin with. Yeah, like they sold it.
The original price,
so it wasn't like they didn't.
Was 1.8 US.
Yeah,
that was the original price. If opened, because like I said, I don't trust anybody that says, "Oh, I'm going to pay you 1.8," and then open up the box and say, "Hey, guess what? I only brought enough money for one box."
All right, so that's another number to keep in mind here: 1.8 million that he supposedly was supposed to get for the case. Keep that over in the corner.
And then, actually, I didn't even know if it was really worth that first when I first was trying to sell it. I was only going to go for $400,000. Enough money to cover my nephew and everything, until I really found out what those things were worth. All
right, so he didn't sell it for $400K. I guess that's what he was originally going to sell it for the case. We're going to cross that out. That didn't happen. So what are we looking at here? We got the 250 plus 600K. So we'll bring out the trusty 600,000 plus 250,000 equals 850,000. So it's like kind of a weird number, right? Weird number to start off with. We got $850,000 that went to Justin. According to Justin, I believe it, because if we see here, You guys remember the J Boys flip dipping this bad boy to shine for $2.7 million? Excuse my handwriting. It's not that bad with a marker or an actual pen. So if we take, let's say, 2.7 million, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 2.7 million on the supercomputer, and let's say we take this 150K wire transfer off. Let's just get rid of that, because that was money well spent, right? Then what do we get? We get $2.55 million dollarinos. And let's say the J Boys, we had Jamil, Jacob, and Justin. Let's say they wanted to split it 3 ways. They would have had to divide this by 3, which equals $850,000. Remember how much they paid to Justin? $850,000. Coincidence? Probably not. So what does that mean? Does that mean all 3 of them were in on it together? They were going to split it? The Pokemon was supposed to get a cut, but if that didn't happen, which according to him it didn't, then splitting this bad boy 3 ways is $850 each. So Justin got just as much of a J cut as the other J Boys. So, as you guys probably remember, Justin was very surprised that I got his phone number. Just a heads up, I can get phone numbers, even super secret ones. Don't worry, I won't use it for bad things. Your sister is safe. Yeah, I see you typing in the comments right now. It's okay. Not going to call her. But what's interesting is, here he says Jacob has been trying to call him recently.
Me like a couple months ago there.
Okay.
I didn't even want to pick up the phone because I was just so pissed off that he was a rip-off con artist. Even people were telling me he was a con artist.
Yeah. Now, I know what you're asking. Why is this important? Jacob probably has his number. But he's so surprised that I have his number because they were probably originally talking on a burner phone, which is no longer active. According to the number that I had previously for Justin, that one is no longer in service, which is a very Micka Birch style. Get a burner phone. I asked the Pokemon about it. He said he had the burner phone number. So it seems Jacob has a second number. This second number. If he was calling in recent times, like indicated by Justin here, that means Jacob has the secret number, the real number, his actual cell phone number, the one that I called him on. Now, the Pokemon also, after I mentioned this to him, he claims that there were 2 numbers that they tried for Jacob at one point in time. So maybe Jacob was the only one that had the second number. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have an additional cell phone that all of a sudden disconnects, that you use as your primary telephone line for this big transaction. So it seems Jacob knows him a little bit better than the 2 of them are letting on, or at least than Justin is letting on. So next, let's take a look at the series of cases, different cases. He claims to have all these different cases. Again, he didn't want to talk about the shadowless case, the one on the dresser, for good reason, because he knows that is extremely, extremely bad for him. That's a smoking gun, as they call it in the Wild West.
I had a whole bunch of different cases.
Okay. So apparently he wants me to believe that all the cases are real. All of them have backstories, but he can't piece together which one is which one came from where. All the different stories seem to be popping up again, even just in conversation. let alone we've seen like the 4.5 stories from the beginning that he was sending to people on eBay that were interested in the case. So this is making a whole lot of sense. It's making a whole lot of sense that it doesn't make any sense.
Tampering happened somewhere along the line. It wasn't through me, because I have complete witnesses. My sister is one witness that was there when my mom bought a case from somebody at a comic store when I was younger. My mother also bought multiple cases. She threw one in her closet, and she was going to give that to my nephew. And then on top of that, I did find one in a estate sale with my sister again. She can verify that one.
Were those both first edition base?
No, there was a first edition, and then there was a regular base, and then there was another first edition that was supposed to be going to my nephew.
Okay.
No, there's a lot. Now, like I said, this is confidential.
So at the end there, you see him mention the confidential thing again. I think that's just mostly whenever he makes up a story or he knows there's something that doesn't add up, that doesn't make sense, he'll go on about how it's confidential, lawyers, as a little defense mechanism at the end of the statement or of the story that is told at the time.
I don't know what to tell you guys. As far as I was concerned and knew, that box was legitimate.
Yeah.
I can have witnesses beyond witnesses proving where those boxes came from and everything. So
he likes to make accusations that the other J boys were the ones that swapped the boxes out. Jacob said that at one point in time that's what Shine did. It didn't. The case was fake from the very beginning. It never housed real first edition base boxes. It never housed Pokemon boxes in general. The thing, as we've seen in countless previous episodes, everything is wrong about it. The stamp on it, the label on it, the tape on it, the box itself. It was puffy. Everything was wrong because it was made from scratch. It never had anything to do with Pokemon cards other than the fake boxes that were printed out that were contained inside. So the background story, there was no one doing this way back in, I guess it depends what story you want to go with for that particular box. The fact that he doesn't remember which story is for which box, and that they all seem to be extremely made up, that tells me these were made recently, and Justin almost certainly knew that the contents of that box were fake just based on the other shadowless box and whatever other fake cases he had that were there. So it's hard to believe that it wasn't even either him or the person that made it for him didn't accidentally swap one of the first edition base boxes. Maybe there was a real reason for that. Maybe they were going to sell those boxes individually, but it's pretty hard to fake those. You can dupe some people with a cardboard box, but when it's an actual first edition base booster box and you're holding it, they should know right away. I mean, we got the little reaction like they saw Pokemon boxes in it in the Logan video, but it shouldn't fool anyone. When you look at it for 2 seconds and immediately see that it's puffy, that it's got the wrong wrap on it, it's faded, it's like printer paper or whatever they made it with, and then you open it to find G.I. Joe cards. Now, this little clip, I don't know if it was just poor wording on his part, but this makes it sound like they were trying to get all the details together, buyer and seller, but not so much for the purchase itself, but more so the details of the case of how it was going to go down, the transaction. Maybe a little bit of a reach here, but to me it sounds a little bit like he was in on it with the other J-Boys. J-Boys fly together, Flying J, if you've ever seen Mighty Ducks. This is the J-Boy equivalent.
It took almost 2 weeks. 2 weeks before that case was sold, of talking and everything, trying to come up with all the details.
So this next little part here is pretty important because it doesn't line up with the Pokejuice story of how the encounter, the J-Boys connected, how they touched tips. This Justin here is going to say that someone reached out to him that put him in touch with the Pokeju, Michael. But the Pokeju, Michael, is saying that someone reached out to him and put him in touch with Justin. So who is this other person that they don't want to name? Is there somebody that connected both of them? They can't connect the same way. The one person had to reach out to the other person. So is that Jacob? Is Jacob the in-between? And maybe Justin messed up the story? I'm under the impression, it sure seems like there's a possibility that Jacob talked to Justin before anyone else and then let on that he didn't. And then maybe he made a burner account, got Justin to contact the Pokaju or vice versa. Maybe they weren't in on that part. Maybe this is just them being in on it together and they can't keep the story straight on how they first met or how they first talked. Who knows? But we got to keep an eye on that. It's interesting. I think that's a key component in what's going on here. And the fact that they can't keep it straight, they don't remember who reached out to who first, or at least can't agree on it. I think that's a big one there. Who was it that contacted you first between like Jacob and them? Was it Jacob that first reached out to you?
No, I got a guy that reached out to me and said, contact this guy.
Okay. Was it Michael?
Yeah, that
Pokaju?
guy. And yeah, he'll turn around and he can help you sell this. I contacted him. He turned around and said, okay, I got buyers, this and that. And then Jacob was one of them.
A lot of my conversation with Justin, I noticed it at the time, but going back through and listening multiple times, it's pretty evident that he's playing dumb at some parts. One moment he knows what was going on. Next moment he says he doesn't know what's going on. There's a bunch of examples here. We'll run through some right now, starting with this one.
The booster case.
Yeah, so the one that Logan Paul ended up with.
Okay.
Not to toot my own horn, but I feel like if he had talked to Jacob at any point, they probably would have mentioned that I was hot on the case. If he was telling Justin not to talk to anyone, he probably mentioned Rattle at some point in the conversation. Maybe someday he'll know who I am.
Okay, who are you?
I'm Mike, Rattle Pokemon.
Okay, I don't even know who you are.
Here we're talking about the other cases in terms of what Jacob acquired or didn't acquire, what went on there. Okay, so you just kept the other ones.
He did have some other stuff that he wanted from me and everything, but as far as like this goes, yeah, this is new information for me.
Here he confirms that he found out later on that it got verified by BBCE. But
Well, I found out, what, a month later, 2 months later or something,
okay.
that went to a company and got verified.
Mm-hmm. So here he acknowledges the fact that he's checking his eBay messages, and if they're anything like mine were at the time, he should have been linked to everything in existence, including the Logan Paul video. Here he makes a reference to the greatest deal in history, Mealy Wheelie Pops video that we've referenced many times.
Thinking, because even everyone we talked about is like fucking, we started getting emails and everything on eBay saying, oh buddy, you got ripped off, that was flipped over and the greatest freaking deal in history and blah 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 blah.
So for someone that has a hard time even remembering who Jamil is at one point in the conversation, here he clearly indicates that he knows who Shine and Logan Paul are and that they received it, even though at other points he claims that he didn't watch or didn't know a lot of this stuff, which I find hard to believe. And
Yeah,
what to see,
sorry,
like
freaking
Jacob was
Shine
like,
and
so
Logan Paul there,
yeah.
but you know that those deals have nothing to do with me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, sorry for their luck and everything, but
So he tells us he watched the greatest Pokemon Mealy Pops video. He says he's aware of the fact that it was authenticated by BB Girl Card Exchange. I don't know. Why is he asking me how long it took? It clearly indicates that they were in a rush to do it. I think here he's playing dumb a little bit. I think he knows exactly what happened. If he's watched those videos, if he got the emails, like he said, If he was ripped off this much money, as he claims, he's definitely, ripped off this money for a legitimate case. If it was a legitimate case, he should be very invested in finding out what went on. And there's no way that he doesn't understand the time frame on this stuff, especially where he's featured in the video and they have him on the call. They haven't blurred out, but he's on the call with them in the situation. And then they're like, yeah, we got to get to PWCC. Did you not watch that part? That's the whole thing.
And when did this all take place? Like, that's what I'm trying to wonder.
It was like 2 days that they received it from you at the game store, which doesn't make any sense. Here he references probably the Instagram post that he saw. He's not on social media, but he saw the Instagram post with Jacob and Shine, and then also mentions again that he watched their videos, their greatest Pokemon history deal 69 videos that they posted, or that Jamil figured he would post.
The only thing I've seen on the internet is, like, I don't do much on the internet unless I'm doing banking or something, but the only thing I seen on there was shortly after it was sold, a month or so, picture of Jacob holding the box, shaking hands with some dude, and their little videos of how it came.
So here he's letting on that he didn't see the Logan Paul video, and then he says something like under his breath, and I really have no idea what he said. If anyone can translate that, maybe that's more Canadian than I am, please let me know what he said in the comments, or best guess, maybe. Let's see what we can come up with. But even in the end here, the reaction to it had G.I. Joe cards in it. It was the least authentic I've ever heard. You watched the Logan Paul video where they opened it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, I wasn't even aware if you just called.
Yeah, you should probably watch that one. It was filled with G.I. Joe cards. So, which was
I'll have to check it out.
Here, reiterating that he's not on social media, so he's definitely not on Instagram, where that post would be, the one with Jacob and Shine. Are you on Instagram and stuff?
No, I don't believe in social media.
Okay.
It's drama, it's bullshit.
Yeah. So the whole time, not knowing certain details that you should definitely know, but at the same time being able to state an exact date of when something happened, didn't know the time frame, knows the exact date. Some of this stuff, definitely playing dumb on, pretending he doesn't know, doesn't remember that it was too long ago. It's not like it was a significant amount of money, so, I mean, does it really matter?
So I can't remember the exact date. I do remember on April 5th. April 5th was the day I mailed the thing. April 6th was the day that I remember that day.
Yeah. That's it for now on the Jacob call. There's definitely some other information in there that we're going to have to pick through and compare to the other J-Boy messages and information. But that'll have to be another time. We still have to get into what is the juiciness of the Kobe card that's being sold, or that was sold on PWCC by our boy Jacob. So let's do that now. All right, back into the Jacoby, as we're calling it, because it's Jacob's Kobe. Get it? So, as we've learned, Chase, who owned it pre-Jacob and informed Jacob it wouldn't cross, he showed the cards to Jason Stern in Dallas. Jason acted what Chase is calling suspicious and told Chase that he owned it before. Apparently he whispered to his friend with a laugh about it. So something was funny about this card. Maybe because it was trimmed. Maybe because they knew it was trimmed. Maybe because they trimmed it. Now, according to Chase, Jason told him at this point that it wouldn't cross, and that he had tried 3 times. From that information, I guess we can assume that it's been sent to PSA to cross grade at least 4 times total. Jason said apparently, don't bother, it's maxed out. And I would assume PSA has it on record. I mean, if it's still in the case, they're going to be able to easily type it into even the most basic of spreadsheets and know that they're not going to cross the card. So people are just wasting their money at this point in time, which is probably the most dangerous part. Chase tells me that he was not aware that Jason was listed as a trimmer all over the blowout forums. For those of you who are not aware, blowout forums is they got some pretty keen individuals, some smarty pantses over there, and yeah, they figure it out. They seem to find all the trimmers, the scandals, the sports card stuff, and I think they are almost always a very good source of information. And so we'll take a look at who's on that blowout altered cards warning list. Let's go here. So, consignment companies selling large quantities of altered cards. No surprise there. We have PWCC auctions. I mean, any type of consignment or auction house is going to be an avenue, unless they really put the crackdown on altered cards and stuff like that. There's a very good chance that they're going to end up accepting, and it's going to be used as a gateway, similar to how Jacob was aware of the fact that his card would not cross, but he doesn't have to disclose that if he's selling it through PWCC. Is that ethical? No, definitely not. But that's kind of the world we live in. That's what happens when you trust these companies and these shady individuals. So take note here, up at the top of the list, Gary Moser, probably #1 Super Trimmer Plus. If you are into sports cards and you don't know who he is, you're lying. And we'll see how that comes into play later on. So we scroll down the list here. Scroll down the list. Oh, what is that? Jason Stern, Then and Now Collectibles, formerly I guess that's Uncle Ben's, if you were to put it on a license plate. UNK LBNZ. Very baller. And you'll see on there, even to the point that they have to make the titles just another Uncle Ben's trimming thread. Nothing to see here. That kind of thing. So it's not like it's a hidden thing in the hobby, and certainly information that should be taken into account from the card grading companies, the auction companies. All of them should be working together to make sure stuff like this doesn't happen, doesn't circulate. We've seen it countless times in the past. Trimmed cards, altered cards get graded. Blowout forums blows out the story and shows, hey, this is what's wrong with this. This was the card before. This is the card afterwards. Obviously altered. We've had it through PSA. We've had it through BGS. We've had it through PWCC. A whole lot. In this instance, it was graded by BGS. Trimmed card. Allegedly trimmed card. I think the odds of it not being trimmed and not being trimmed by the individual that's involved, slim to none. But you guys make up your mind. I'm just here to present the information, present my opinion. And in my opinion, I think this is pretty cut and dry what happened and how something's trying to be snaked through PWCC by Snaky Jacob, the J-Boy. So even worse is these companies or these guys that are known for this stuff. What do they get? I don't know. They get articles on PSA talking about Then and Now Collectibles. So the guy is known for altering cards, but you're going to feature him on your website. Just kind of shows what happens when you're a big customer for one of these companies. Shows you might get some preferential treatment, even though you're not a very good person. So now, I guess to end this video off, I'm going to read through my DMs with a PWCC employee, Eric Myers, and I'll try and do my best evil cowboy voice that may change into some other different accents, but should be entertaining nonetheless. There's quite a few DMs here, so this might take a while. Grab a cold one if you need a new one. It's Friday, so you should have one already, but get a backup for this part. All right, so here are the DMs with Eric. So we'll go through them, and I'll explain some of the stuff. I'll make some corrections on the stuff that I was wrong on, or what gets discussed that maybe isn't the case anymore. So starting out, hey, did you sell this to Jacob Gabe, aka Card Kahuna? And we'll use we'll start off with the evil cowboy and see what it develops into as Eric's voice. Not an actual representation of what he sounds like, but for the sake of me going back and forth and talking to myself, that's what we're going to use. Make sure we got lots of lube.
He did own it. However, I think it recently sold and no longer belongs to him.
He got it from you, though?
Nope.
Any idea who might have sold it to him?
Yes, but I can't give that info out without permission from either party. I'm not sure if the guy who sold it to him wants it known. Why not ask Jacob?
Chase Rhymes sold it to him?
Why are you asking me? You know he already told you that.
So originally someone told me that Eric had sold it to Jacob, but so here is a great example. I guess we can't really see all of it on the screen here, but this is basically Chase showing me the fact that Card Kahuna is sharing DMs with him. So there you have it. You have PWCC in bed, metaphorically, with the J boys, with Jacob. So he says,
"This isn't TCG community. We all know each other here. You're obviously trying to make it look like I had something potentially malicious with this card. It's not trimmed. Beckett would have caught it if it was. Do you have proof that it's trimmed? You made a claim in that text that's it's trimmed. All your info so far seems to be wrong."
And I say, seems PSA indicated it was. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Did you own it at any point?
No, sir. I never owned it. But that's hard to answer because it's not a numbered card. The fact that it could have been in another holder and passed through my hands in a PSA holder or something like that could have happened. I've been in the hobby for 16 years, so to remove that possibility that I never owned a non-numbered card is difficult. PSA says a lot of BGS cards are trimmed and vice versa. That doesn't mean they are trimmed. It would need to go back to the grading company that actually graded the card.
So this doesn't make any sense, at least to me. Maybe somebody can make sense of it in the comments or in the chat. But I'm under the impression that PSA would love to have that card in a PSA case. It's an expensive card, rather than sending the card back to the person that purchased it with a $5,000 bill and a little slip that says that it's trimmed. Maybe that's just me. I don't know exactly how they operate. I would think, like anything, like any expensive card, these companies want to have their slab wrapped all over it. Were you or anyone else at PWCC warned about it?
About what?
Spoiler, they were, by Chase.
About what? Beckett had never questioned the card. In fact, I'm positive it's been sent back to Beckett multiple times to try to get bumped, and they never brought up as an issue. If Beckett has an issue with the card, they know how to reach us. We contact Beckett all the time. I'm honestly confused. Are you only wanting PSA to confirm another company's grade and not willing to take the grade of the original grading company? You do realize the first card ever graded by PSA was a trimmed/altered Honus Wagner. How did we get to the part in this convo where PSA becomes the only company that can be recognized?
And this is like his argument the whole time, but I don't give a shit. You guys know out there, I don't like grading in general. I think it's all sketchy-wetchy, and I'm not trying to defend PSA. I'm trying to say that PSA says it's altered. BGS might not. Maybe BGS would change their tune if they knew the full history that's been covered in this video and the previous video where we talked about it. But that's on them.
What evidence do you have that it's trimmed? Please share that with me. I'm willing to listen if you have real evidence. I definitely want to take that info up to the owners if you have real evidence.
I'll keep digging, but from what I'm hearing, it was sent to PSA and rejected for trimming multiple times. That Jacob knew this when he purchased it. He did. He was informed that it would not cross.
Let's assume that is true. We would still need to have actual evidence that it's trimmed, not just PSA saying, hey, think it's trimmed. PSA kicks back hundreds, if not thousands, of other grading companies' cars because they believe they are trimmed. If you have actual evidence, please tell me no, and I'll be addressed as soon as possible. Also, please keep in mind that the card is graded by Beckett and not PSA. One grading company kicking back its competition's graded card isn't a new thing. Also, can you find out if it's been sent back to Beckett to be looked at? Because if it has been, then all this is a moot point. It's a Beckett graded card, not PSA.
Does PWCC check the certs of the cards before they go up for sale?
We have a spreadsheet of cards we have been informed of. That list, of course, is always growing because we can't possibly track every card that gets resubmitted back to the grading companies, and I'm not aware of Beckett adding that card to any flagged list or them reaching out to us about it.
So I tell them the cert is inactive. It turns out the search that I was using does not work, or it did at one point, but now you have to log in. Thanks to the people that reached out to me about that. That was my bad, but also the bad of BGS making it difficult to look up cert numbers to verify that they're real. Not everyone wants a BGS account where they can go log in and suck each other off.
Eric, if you have any evidence of Beckett stating that card is trimmed, please share that with me. We can't do anything without evidence. What evidence do you currently have?
Not expecting BGS to explain why, but it isn't.
The Beckett cert is no longer working?
Nope.
I'll have to reach out to them about that. We aren't aware of that.
Maybe you have a contact that would explain why, but they are hesitant on releasing any information.
That's 100% new news to us.
Whenever I've asked about similar situations,
I'll see them in Las Vegas this weekend and definitely bring it up.
So it's kind of weird that they didn't look up the cert themselves when it was brought up by Chase. It seems like they want to do as little as possible to verify whether or not there's something sketchy going on with this. So you know what? We did the work for them here. We did it. You guys. We did. I did. You did. Everybody that's tuned in here. Here we go. This is it. There you go. Full backstory.
The CEO of Beckett will be here. I'll make sure to address it. You still not able to pull up the cert in the BAS? I recommend trying a BGS. Smiley laughy face.
You still associating yourself with Jacob?
Smiley laughy face.
Rip J-Boys. What does that...
What does that even mean, J-Boys?
Scum covers for scum.
I take it you found out the Beckett cert works. I was going to tell you earlier. Was really wanted to see what your intent was. Why am I scum? I never done one person wrong in the hobby. Not one in 16 years.
Weird have you have such a hard on for protecting Jacob and a trim card that he is trying to pass on to someone else.
I don't protect him at all. I'm just a Christian and don't sling mud. I'm actually a decent person, but you're only looking to hate.
So it's weird. This is like keeps coming up with the I'm more religious than you kind of arguments, but maybe that's a theme. I'm not looking to hate. Scammers are scammers. If you want to ignore that, Jacob was informed that the card was trimmed when he purchased it. PWCC was informed that there was an issue. You are extremely defensive about the fact that it isn't trimmed when there is much more saying that it was, including the person who sold it to the seller. Please tell me about why about you and Jacob. Is he a trustworthy individual? If you'd like to be a reference, I'm all ears.
A reference for what? I would have loved to talk to you, but you're only wanting to call names and sling mud on me for no reason. I've never done anything wrong to you or anyone you know. I also do prison ministries and juvenile detention ministries. So does that also make me scum?
I don't know how that has anything to do with it.
Just because I answer my phone when people call, you want to know the truth about me? I'm not a judgmental human being.
What? I guess judgmental human being?
You went on a public forum talking trash about me for no reason at all, bro. You had zero reason to do that. Also, where is the evidence that the card is trimmed? I've asked you for it multiple times. Real evidence. Where is it? And I know Chase well. He tried to sell me the card and never told me it was trimmed. Why didn't he tell me about it when he tried to sell it to me? There's a lot of people I help in life. I help drug addicts and people right off of jail too. I do a lot for people that others just write off. You must not know my story, do you?
I don't give a shit.
I'm also a recovering drug addict too. You going to call me names about that too? I also used to be homeless. You going to drag me through the mud about that too?
I mean, dude, I didn't even ask. This seems like I don't know why you're telling me this stuff, but great.
My religion and faith call me to be an understanding and forgiving person. You don't have to be to like that. I don't care if you do, but I get to decide what and who God calls me to talk to, not you.
So here we get the this Pokemon card I just sold for $420,000 at auction. He's quoting CNN here. Interesting. Does he not realize that this happens with everything? This happened with the $900,000 Illustrator that got shared everywhere. People are still quoting the fact that it was $900,000. It wasn't paid for. Then they had it switched to I think $600,000, and now it's gone altogether. So was that a similar situation? Should we trust all the games journalists and people at CNN who, why the hell are they talking about Pokemon trading cards? Why should we believe them? They're just copy pasting shit. Games journalists are lazy shitheads, for the record. I know I've said it multiple times on here, but the large majority of them are shitty people that copy paste each other and do a little to no work. What happened with the 10 of 12 Zorua and Zoroark cards that weren't paid? How did they manage to get posted on Instagram with a dollar value before the sales were confirmed?
I thought you were posting about the Zard card.
So the Zard was speculation because I didn't believe it. I was very skeptical about the Charizard, but it was confirmed that the Zorua and Zoroarks. I was very clear on that video that I was speculating on the Charizard, that it looked fake, but the other cards. So here, both. Zard looks suspicious. Zoruas are confirmed not paid.
I'm going to need more info than that from you. We sell over 20,000 items a month. What evidence do you have about the Zard? Please share.
So clearly he watched my video, and he's playing fucking dumb, pretending that he doesn't know about the Zorua crap that I clearly indicated it wasn't sold.
You keep asking more and more questions, but aren't answering any of my questions. I told you the Kobe cert was good. You just wouldn't listen to me. Then you went to the Zard.
He didn't tell me that he didn't think that the Kobe cert was either, and he was too lazy to look it up himself. He just took my word for it, and I looked it up wrong.
Now you're going down another rabbit hole with a W with other cards, and in the process, you've been more than disrespectful to me. We need to have a mutual respect for each other before I continue to give any more info, sir.
Looks like PWCC removed the Zorua posts. The Kobe was trimmed and was sold to Jacob as trimmed.
What's your proof?
Zard is suspicious at that price. New record in a downward market. The person who sold it to Jacob told him it was sold. It was and sold it as a huge discount for that reason. Whew, if I can talk.
We both know a lot of people think that Zard is one of the best out there.
Chase was going to cross it, and Mark's already tried.
That's also false. I know Chase well. I had dinner with him last night. There was no huge discount because of it. Chase is a good friend of mine, bro. And I've never even met Jacob.
Oh, you're sharing DMs with Jacob. Sounds like you know him a little bit, right? $175,000 for a $250,000 market value at the time.
There's never been a sale of the card hitting $250,000,
is what I heard.
But you asked me and I told you. You still refuse to believe anything I tell you unless it fits your agenda.
Not when it's trimmed and won't cross. Who purchased the Charizard? Someone, according to CNN, who is apparently a games journalism station now, was the person who overpaid bidding against people who intended to pay. So that's another thing that doesn't get brought up. If we have all these auctions that aren't getting paid, how many of the bids are being counted against people that are actually going to pay? You're getting shit. All your items that you're even buying, that you're winning, you're probably getting shilled on. Could be. I mean, for 10 of those 12 cards that I'm pointing out, for them to not get paid for, how does someone do that? How does someone bid on items like that? No repercussions. They post it as a record sale until they're called on it.
A lot of cards don't cross, bro. PSA says a lot of cards from other grading companies are trimmed, and there's no shortage of substantial evidence of cards that have been trimmed and still PSA grades them. Are you new to sports cards?
Yeah, kinda.
We get every buyer for Premier Auction. You should know this if you're into cards. We vet every buyer.
I don't know why he's quoting himself instead of putting like the little asterisk. Show me some other examples of PSA rejecting crosses for trimming.
I'm not doing your work for you, bro. The first card ever graded by PSA is trimmed, and they still graded it. It's a Honus Wagner.
Yes, we get it. Okay, we get it. The first card ever graded was trimmed. Okay, cool. I'm not defending PSA. I'm saying PSA realized that it's trimmed. BGS didn't. You don't even vet the payments for record sales posted on Instagram. I can only imagine the amount of show bids and unpaid items.
That's because we post the sales, and then after the payments are made, the cards get logged into the company that tracks our paid items.
What? What's the punishment for not paying? Did someone get booted for the 10 unpaid Zoroark cards?
You should know the company that does this. I can't believe you don't know how auction houses work. You didn't even know how to use Beckett's website. Do you even know the company that tracks our paid for items data? I can't tell you who bought the Zard. I would lose my job. And what makes you think you deserve any help after the way you treat random people? I'm surprised that you weren't told I'm one of the most honest people in the hobby. You haven't believed anything I've told you. First I told you the cert was good. Then I told you the Zard was a real sale. You call me scum because you think I hang out with Jacob all the time, LOL.
What? I never said that.
It wouldn't have taken you 5 minutes to find out I've never even met Jacob. Literally anyone would have told you that.
That's strange with the amount of events and stuff that Jacob was going to, that you've never been to one of those when you work for PWCC. And if you're this hard on the sports cards. I have met a decent person who wants to protect Jacob, and usually they don't put so much effort into it.
And our unpaid items went from 8.7% on eBay to 1.8% on our own site.
Is that because you ignore them?
How much effort have I put into it? You didn't even ask me had I ever met him. He bought one freaking baseball card from me last year. That's the only transaction I've ever had with him.
Never met Jacob, but you're sharing DM screenshots? Maybe you shouldn't be so determined to protect him then.
Protect him from what?
It's your name that you're associating when you do.
I'm not protecting him.
His trim card that can't possibly be trimmed in your eyes.
It's a Beckett graded card, not graded by PSA. I need proof that it's trimmed, bro, not a subjective opinion.
Don't forget the dumb sticker on it, too.
They didn't even take it out of the case.
That makes it unaltered for sure, LOL.
You mean the Mike Baker sticker?
Yes.
You do realize he was the first head grader at PSA, right? LOL.
Again, I don't care. I'm not defending PSA. So if he still worked there, it would cross.
I don't know the answer to hypothetical situations, bro. But if you are so sure PSA gets it right, then why do you think a Mike Baker sticker is dumb? He's graded the most expensive cards in the world. He probably has more experience than any other grader on Earth.
And that's why he's selling stickers.
Why can't you provide me proof and be done with it? Real proof, not one opinion or the other, just facts.
Would love to see if it was resubmit/regraded by BGS like you claimed.
Freaking ask Chase. He'll tell you it was. He submitted to BGS himself to get it bumped to a BGS 10. I can't believe you still don't believe me, LOL. This is simply two different grading companies who have different opinions, but you don't want to hear that.
Yeah, well, one of the opinions is that it's fake. Or altered, rather. The other opinion is that it's real. And maybe they made a mistake and they haven't seen it. How is it in PSA's interest to not cross it and label it trimmed? Wouldn't they want it in a PSA case? Wouldn't that be a better customer experience?
To damage BGS's reputation. They don't like each other. I don't know why companies do what they do, bro. I actually have a life. I don't sit around all day asking myself why companies don't agree with each other. The real question is, do you think BGS got it wrong?
Yes.
Because there's a lot more cards on Blowout Forum that PSA has supposedly graded trimmed cards than there is BGS. The data actually supports that less trimmed cards are in BGS holders than PSA.
Okay, I don't care.
Ask around, bro. Ask people if there's more altered trimmed cards in PSA holders or BGS. Then get back to me. Also, why do you think a BGS got it wrong? Do you not trust BGS?
No, I don't trust any grading companies. None of them. They've all done shady shit. Shouldn't the customer buying the Kobe have the background on this card and that it wouldn't cross? Jacob had that info, though he is denying it. You don't think PWCC is an avenue for Jacob to not disclose that information? You don't think he's shifting liability like he tried to with the BBCE? You don't think someone is going to get burned for $5,000 trying to cross it again? Tell me more about those morals you have. I have a lot of issues with grading companies, but yes, BGS probably at the top for least trustworthy on this. If they are going to give extra black labels to ex-employees, who says they won't overlook an alter?
I don't think he's shifting anything because no one claims that the card will cross.
Ooh, so you don't have to disclose sketchy information. Good to know. Good to know. For anyone that's thinking about purchasing anything from PWCC, make sure you do your homework because they don't give a shit if the card's altered or not. As long as they don't care if 20 people say it's trimmed. They don't care if the guy says he trimmed it himself. As long as it's in that BGS case or PSA case and it's been graded, they don't give a shit about you. It's deceptive, and PWCC is helping him cover his ass.
Again, PSA's first card was trimmed. There's a long list of potentially trimmed cards in PSA holders.
There's like something to do with scum daddies. They really like to repeat themselves. They'll get on like a couple little points, and it just over and over and over and over. I know you want to reference it, but I don't care about the first PSA card.
No one is helping him cover anything. What you're saying would only make sense if PSA provided proof. It's their opinion, bro. You keep leaving that out. Also, the first card that graded happens to be the most expensive card in our hobby.
Even if PSA is wrong, it's a $5,000 trap that keeps getting passed along.
Why?
And would be valued less with that information available.
No one is responsible for a person's choice to send it to PSA.
You hear that? PWCC doesn't give a shit if you waste $5,000 trying to cross this thing and then end up with a card that's worth less. And then you get to pass the buck on to the next person, and people get fucked in a Doug Redo Hype Doggy 69. Because the person who bought it will likely try to cross it too. If you can't see the issue with that,
no auction house promises that cards will cross from company to company. Again, it's a BGS card. That's what's being sold.
Okay, Jacob, it's a BBC wrap that's being sold.
By the way, PSA uses BBCE Sly Face. I don't see Beckett using BBCE Sly Face Winky Dog. And I honestly don't know anything about the BBCE case that has nothing to do with PWCC or me.
I have a feeling that you probably do know something about it. So,
Again, what you're wanting us to do is list other grading card companies' opinion on the cards we auction. Sir, that literally has never been done by any major auction house ever.
Well, maybe that's saying something about the major auction houses.
I know there's no way you're new to all auction houses' work. However, I must ask, why did you not know how to use Beckett's website? How is it that you don't know that no major auction does what you're asking? How is it that you don't know the vetting process of our company? How is it that you don't know that a grading company only offers a subjective opinion?
I'm not saying other grading companies are perfect. I'm saying that PWCC is providing a scammer the ability to hide information that is going to cost someone thousands of dollars in attempted regrades. That and the value of the card is not the same as it would be without the multiple failed cross grades. You have a nice write-up to go with the card. Why shouldn't it include a disclaimer that it cannot be crossed to PSA because they think it is trimmed? It's an important piece of information for the buyer. You wouldn't do this. You wouldn't do this to your friend. If you're selling a card to your friend and you know that it's not going to cross the PSA, you're going to tell them. So why does PWCC think it's okay to treat their customers like shit? Rip them off. Have undisclosed information that they know about, they were informed about, but they don't disclose it to the customer because they don't give a shit about you.
No one does that. Literally no major auction house does that. Do you know why? You honestly just don't like Jacob.
No, I don't really.
And you have that right. So you're reaching for anything you can. I'm not sure what your issue is in general, but your logic and research definitely unique. I'm still not sure why the Zard even came up with you. Why do you have this perspective that only your point of view is right? You call people names and then think they should respect you and your point of view. And you've made it clear you think BBCE is not to be trusted, but PSA clearly used them for a while. You keep pointing out PSA's flaws with your own defense.
I don't care. PSA sucks too.
When you open your open auction house, you can do whatever you want, but it's industry standard not to do what you're suggesting.
Well, I'm probably not going to open an auction house because they're outdated. eBay is kind of the solution to that. And even eBay is kind of outdated in certain ways. Your old-timey buyer's premium stupid shit. I don't know how it still exists, but it does. Largely because people can probably scam other people through your sales events. When did I call you names? I am also critical of PSA using BBCE for their pack authentication. Not saying that they're perfect, and especially not in that aspect.
You called me scum.
If your intention is to run defense for Jacob on this, then yes, then yes, you are. Definitely seems that is the case, if PWCC wants to create a gateway to sell cards with issues they have been informed about, whether it's misgrades, won't cross, etc., that's scummy too. You're allowing Jacob to fuck over a customer. Same situation if it was someone else selling through you. Basically, a shady used car salesman at that point who is going to ignore known issues with a vehicle they are auctioning off.
It's not our business to guarantee cards cross over from one company to the next. You keep using PSA's opinion as if it is fact. Sir, I'm going to ask you one more time for actual proof of it being trimmed. Their opinion isn't proof. They didn't even look at the card in raw form. They didn't measure it in raw form either. Also, you've already stated that PSA has issues and can't be trusted 100%. Why would we go their opinion versus a BGS opinion? Let's remove the fact that it's a card. Let's pretend it's an autographed baseball. If Beckett authenticated a Babe Ruth and have a COA, and if the same ball was sent to PSA and they said it was likely not genuine, and it wouldn't give it a COA, what are your thoughts about that?
Why are you so concerned about my opinion on it? Is it because deep down you know it's shady that PWCC is selling it for Jacob? If it's such a non-issue, why isn't Jacob and or PWCC transparent about it?
I'm not concerned with your opinion. I'm concerned with the fact why you won't give it. Just like you won't give evidence. You refusing to give anything is deeply concerning. What are you hiding? It's not industry standard. No one does it. It's not even normal or logical. We aren't selling a PSA card. It's clearly a BGS card, and PSA is only offering an opinion and not providing evidence. They are only providing an opinion. We are in no way concerned with PSA's opinion on a BGS card and vice versa. Let me make that really clear. We got a phone call over here and I gotta hang it up. Let me make that really clear. We aren't concerned with competing grading companies' opinions on their competition slabs.
Well, it's not that they're just giving an opinion on it. It's the fact that they sent it back multiple times. What seems like 4 times at least. They wouldn't do that if they didn't think it was actually trimmed.
It's not just us. No one does that. eBay doesn't require it either. Literally no one does.
Would Oh, wait, that's me. Would PWCC issue a refund for the customer who purchased this if they wanted one based on the undisclosed information?
Also, we stand behind our cards that sell in Premier. If BGS says it's trimmed, we would refund.
What incentive would BGS have to disclose that?
You'll need to ask them that, sir. I work for PWC and not BGS. What proof do you have that the Zard was shielded? I'm still waiting for that too. You haven't provided anything. You keep asking questions but not answering.
I've already said that it just looks suspicious and that there's no mention of any names. When I see the person that actually paid for it, I'll tell you what, I will retract what I said. But if you'd like to, for the time being, talk about the Zorua and Zorua cards that definitely weren't paid for but were record sales, we can do that. Advertised as record sales by PWCC, the person that sold them but didn't get the money for them. You are definitely concerned about my opinion. If you weren't, you wouldn't be constantly messaging me with your defense of Jacob and PWCC's unethical practices involving the card.
I haven't brought him up once other than to tell you I've never met him. You keep bringing up his name.
It's because the card that we're talking about is him. It's his.
I'm not defending him. I've said that multiple times.
I'll send you the Zorua stuff later on, and you can come up with an explanation for the record sales post on unpaid items.
I won't bring him up again. That'll solve that. What does that have to do with the Zard?
It's around the same time. And it was unpaid items that were record sales. Zard was record sale. Zard was suspiciously record sale. Zorua was confirmed. Zard not confirmed. Zard suspicious. Get that straight, Eric. Come on.
I'm not answering any more questions until you start treating me with mutual respect.
That the Zard could be the same situation, or the competing bids could be shill.
You'll need to prove that since you're making the claim. Could be, might be, think it is. That's all subjective, sir. Proof. I'm asking for proof.
It wasn't a statement that it was. It's speculation based on similar auctions and an unrealistic price by an anonymous bidder.
None of our bidders on Premier are anonymous. None. So that ends that discussion.
Anonymous winner? Is that it? It's anonymous to the public. As you quoted CNN. Right? With the lack of ethics shown by you and PWCC, record unpaid sales posts on Instagram, etc., I don't think it's unreasonable to question it.
What lack of ethics have I showed?
Do you have an explanation for the removal of PWCC from eBay while we're at it?
From what? Also, you need to answer questions before I do. Mutual respect. You started all this about the cert, and it was right in front of your face. You couldn't even use Beckett website and didn't apologize for that false accusation.
No, and I'm not going to apologize. Sorry. I guess I just did at the end of that. How's the FBI investigation on the altered PSA slabs PWCC was selling?
Are you suggesting the PSA graded altered cards?
Or are they just conserved, as Brent puts it?
Wait, you're now telling me PSA can't spot altered cards? Pick one side and stick to it.
Cover for Moser and cover for Gabe. LOL.
I don't even know who Moser is.
Okay. You work for PWC and don't know who Gary Moser is. Come on now.
No, I don't know him. Never met him or talked to him.
I guess I deleted something there. I might have mistyped this. What happened here with the 10 of 12 unpaid Zoroas and Zoroarks, and how did PWCC manage to post it as a record sale when it wasn't paid for? So I sent them the picture of the post.
Last night was also a record-breaking night for Pokemon. All 3 of these art contest cards set new all-time records.
Woo. Oopsie-doo. I know you want to focus on the Charizard with less information available, but would be nice to know what happened with all of these.
You stated in on me with the Kobe Refractor, then went to the Zard. Now you want info on other cards? You still haven't answered any of my questions, and you've insulted me multiple times and called me scum. You haven't apologized for wrongly accusing the Kobe for the cert not working or the Zard going unpaid for. Until you start treating me with respect, you'll need to go elsewhere for your info. I recommend that you learn how to treat people.
Pretty sure you brought up the Zard. I had it in a video because it was a suspicious purchase. These Zoroa and Zoroark cards were confirmed unpaid. Would the record-breaking sale still be up on PWCC's Instagram if I didn't feature them in a video?
No, it wasn't me bringing up the Zard. You actually made a video about it saying 2 was shill bid. That was you, sir.
No, go watch the video.
Your first false claim,
I'm spitting all over the place,
was that the Kobe cert didn't work. Your second false claim was that the Zard wasn't getting paid for. Your third false claim was that it was shill bid. This isn't even taken in account that you
Jesus Christ, it's hard to read.
This isn't even taken in account that you've made a claim that the Kobe is trimmed. Also, the Zard purchase wasn't suspicious at all. The Pokemon community said that was a top 5 copy. Also, every single bidder for Premier Auction gets vetted, so there's no way a random bidder could bid on it. Also, Premier bidders have bidding limits, so a bidder's first limit is $100K. They need to have a stable buying history to go to the next level of $250K limit. Then after that, they could go to $500K. then its 500k plus limit. So the bidders bidding on the Zard would have had to build a buying history to get approved, then have a history to get approved over 100k, then again to bid over 250k.
Oh my god, my boys.
So you'll need to provide evidence of your claim of potential shill bidding on that item. Real evidence and not just clickbait.
I made the video, but you brought it up in conversation. The same video that contained the Zoroark and Zoroark cards you claim to know nothing about. So all the shilling happens on the 100k unless record prices, ? Face.
You'll need to provide evidence of that.
Unless favors are done for the valued customers who get their limit increased. There is with the Zoroark and Zoroark cards.
What evidence?
Someone bid on them without paying. The owner of the cards posted that they would be up again. 10 of 12 still available.
That's not shill. That's unpaid items.
PWCC, meanwhile, is posting that they are record sales.
Provide evidence of them being shilled, and it's public knowledge that they are being relisted.
Looks like shill to me, not saying it was necessarily the owner or PWCC employee, like the eBay allegations. Correction, card owner.
eBay never claimed that employees shilled for PWCC.
Where'd the record sales post go?
That's another false claim. Show me where eBay claimed that PWCC employees shilled.
If we want to talk about false claims, I'm speculating on suspicious activities, and PWCC is making the actual false claims. Record-breaking sale. So we got a nice little clip here. That's pretty false, isn't it? On a card that wasn't paid for. So here I sent them the eBay thing, the eBay statement about the show bidding, PWCC getting booterinoed from eBay.
Let me guess you haven't seen this either.
Oh no, wait, that's me. Let me guess you haven't seen this either.
It clearly says associated with. That could be buyers or sellers or anyone who has ever used PWC or even eBay.
Who were these associated people?
You claim employees. We don't know. eBay didn't tell us or the public. The truth is they wanted to use our vault, and we said no. Then they dropped us soon after. Now they're doing their own vault.
That's the new narrative. PWCC refers to employees. And we have the PWCC clip, which not conveniently will not be the right size for the screen.
Well, that clearly says we never shilled. Contact eBay and get proof.
And here in brackets, I'm quoting the PWCC statement that says, to PWCC's knowledge.
Yes, our knowledge, no one ever shilled, and that was an employee. And we track our employees really, really well, bro. Even this thread is being tracked. I'm on my company phone messaging you. Everything an employee does from their phone, laptop, or PC is tracked.
Can the FBI read this? Are they still investigating the altered cards that were being sold through PWCC?
I don't work for the FBI. I don't know what they can do.
Did you talk to them about it?
You'll need to contact them. Contact the FBI for FBI questions. Also contact eBay to provide you with evidence that PWCC employees shilled. I bet they can't do it. I know they can't. There isn't any evidence of it. They wanted to use our vault, and we said no. They don't like being told no. Also asked eBay if they wanted to use PWCC vault before they dropped us. Asked them if we said no.
Okay, I'll call up eBay about the shilling and FBI about the altered cards. Can you show me that PWCC was asked to use the vault? That way I have info from everyone. LOL.
I've already told you that you need to provide evidence of any of your false claims before I give you anything else. It's going to be mutual respect or nothing. 1. Evidence of trimming. 2. Evidence of shilling on our new platform. 3. Evidence of non-payment for the Zard.
There's no convincing you on any of it. If you're going to even pretend you have no idea who Gary Mosher is, Selling the Kobe on your platform after being warned and the seller's history is extremely unethical.
I need evidence. Provide evidence.
Start sale looks fake, and though the details are hidden, many other items are unpaid and also advertised as record sales.
I don't know Moser. I really don't. I've never met him or spoke to him ever.
So, like, I don't know if he's trying to say, like, he doesn't know him because he hasn't, like, given him a hand job. But I'm really asking, do you know of him? Do I have to be that specific? Or are you just going to try and hide the fact that you don't know who he is, or you don't want to talk about him, so you're just going to pretend that you don't know him, you don't personally know him? I don't give a shit if you sat down and let him suck on your toes. What I want to know is that you know who he is. So now you're just going to play dumb, and, like, now that you get called on it, you're going to, you clearly know who he is. Everyone who knows sports cards knows who Moser is.
Do you know him?
You've even referred to blowouts, so I know you've heard of him. Weird thing to lie about, but
I don't even have a blowout account.
Well, neither do I. You don't need an account in order to read all the threads on there. Beautiful part about it, it's public information.
I just know what it is because I've heard others mention it.
So you don't know blowout. You don't know Moser. You're full of shit. You have to be full of shit. That or there's no way that you could possibly be into sports cards and you know everyone as you claim, but you don't know everyone apparently. It's convenient, really convenient.
People send me screenshots of blowout. I don't use it or have an account there. Okay, are you claiming I know them?
So you want me to believe that you work with sports cards in your profession and have learned nothing about them or the people who do wrong in the hobby?
Are you claiming I know him?
You don't need an account to read the posts.
Are you claiming I know him?
Claiming that you should know who he is. I'm not saying you went out for drinks and rubbed each other down. I guess I'm kind of making the same jokes in the conversation as I am in the video here. It's been a while since I've looked at this.
Are you claiming I've ever spoke to him or met him?
I've made it very clear that I was asking if you knew who he is.
I said no.
What? Why the need for clarification? If you'd like to change your answer, you can.
If you feel different, prove it. Prove that I know him. You're the one making the claim. Support your claim that I know him or have met him or have ever spoke to him.
Do you and or any PWCC employees have criminal records? Is there a background check done?
Call PWCC and ask them that. I've made it clear until you start treating me with mutual respect. I'm not answering you, bro. You don't respect me and you call me scum.
You'll selectively answer regardless.
You literally refuse to provide evidence for any claim. Not one piece of evidence. We can treat each other with mutual respect and answer each other's questions. I'm okay with that.
I showed you the record Zoroark.
Are they getting relisted? Yes. Is it public knowledge that they are? Yes. Did we log them as paid for? No.
How does it get posted then? Social media guy was horny to post all the record sales? Didn't want to wait for payments or something?
We report the sale. Then after the payments window, we report which cards got paid for. This is how we've been doing it. It's not new, and I've only worked at PWCC for less than a year.
So you always post sales on Instagram before payment?
Watch our Instagram and find out. Do the research yourself. It isn't hard, bro. You can do it from your phone.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I think that was a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. But again, everyone that's here for the premiere, thanks for coming. Everyone that's watching this later, thanks for watching. I totally get it if it's some ungodly hour when the premiere comes on. But yeah, join us on Fridays, same time every week. Be here for that. Join the Discord. Thanks for tuning in. Bye. For anyone that noticed or was wondering, yeah, that was a chicken foot that was by the fire area. I think a fox might have left it there.